Hello, my name is Brad McMillan. I'm Commonwealth's Chief Investment Officer. Today, I'd like to take a look at what will likely happen in the second half of this year. And just as in the first half, it's going to be all about the virus. But let's get a little perspective here. Let's step back. What have we seen with the virus so far this year? We saw the epidemic explode, but then we started to bring it under control. We saw the daily case growth rate drop from 15% plus to under 2%. We saw testing go up by almost 6 times, and that's only in the past quarter. And yes, we've seen some setbacks in June. We've seen case growth go much higher. We've seen some scary headlines. But at a national level, it's not up nearly as much. We're still in a good place. And even though we're seeing significant outbreaks in a number of states, we're also seeing those states' governments start to take the appropriate measures. In other words, even in those states, we know what to do, and now we're doing it, and it will work. So we can reasonably expect the virus to remain under control for the rest of the year. And that's a good thing because that's a necessary foundation for the recovery to continue. And it is continuing. So far this year, we've seen tens of millions of jobs lost, but in the past month or so, we've seen millions of those jobs come back. We saw consumer confidence crater, but we've seen consumer confidence come back. And we've seen the average person going from staying at home, not earning any money, not spending any money, to going out and spending again and earning money. And on the whole, it's been a much faster recovery than anybody expected. And despite the medical setbacks we've seen in June, we still see it continuing. And that is very likely what's going to happen for the rest of the year. Despite the setbacks, we're going to see the recovery continue to move ahead. And that's good news for financial markets, but at the same time, financial markets have very high expectations. Right now, the stock market expects 2021 earnings to be like 2019. And if that happens, that would be a great recovery. That would be remarkable. But the problem is this: markets are already pricing in that success. Markets are higher now than they were then, and valuations are much higher. There's a lot of good news priced in. And that could give us some headwinds for the rest of the year, even some volatility. Even if everything goes right, we can certainly expect more volatility. And that's something we have to keep an eye on. But nonetheless, as we move into the second half, things actually look quite good. Yes, we've seen some medical setbacks, but we're taking the appropriate countermeasures, and we know that they will work over time. The economic recovery continues and has quite a bit of momentum behind it. Even if we see some setbacks there, we'll still continue to be in a good place. And even though the stock market is likely to face some headwinds, nonetheless, the fact that the virus should remain under control and the recovery will continue should provide a lot of cushion. In other words, the second half of the year is looking much, much better than we would have thought even a month or two ago. That's it for right now. We'll see what happens, but in the meantime, check out my blog, The Independent Market Observer, for regular updates. Stay healthy. Thanks for watching, and we'll get through this together.